Yeah. The Tashara Parker Show. The internet's favorite cousin. A different perspective on news, culture, and hot topics. The Tashara Parker Show.
What is up, everybody? Good morning. It is 11:03 a.m. You know, just a few minutes late. And honestly, I wouldn't even call it late because within 5 minutes, I think we good. Okay. Now, when I get to that 11:10, 11:15, and y'all wonder what's going on, then we can have a conversation. All right. So make sure y'all tap in. What is today? What's today? Tuesday, February 3rd. I always want to remind you because I forget myself very, very often. Oh, Lord, what has been going on? First of all, thank you to everyone who continues to support me, continues to support this page. We're definitely starting something new. If you are new here, make sure you like this post. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. And even if you choose to stay over here on Facebook, make sure you're engaging and interacting. Hit the thumbs up, okay? Hit the like button, all right? So we can tap in with each other. If you are new here, say good morning. Even if you're not new here, I tell folks all the time, you can't come to my grandma's house, you can't come to my house and not say good morning. You got to walk into people's house and say hello, okay? I was not in the bed with you last night. That's what my grandma used to say anyway. Like, I ain't sleep in your bed last night. You better walk in here and say good morning. All right. BU Cortez, good morning to you. Terrence, hello. Let me know you guys are in. Let me know you're tapped in. I know it's still early in the stream. But obviously, before I start digging into all I need to talk about, I need to make sure y'all are in the building. Okay. So good morning. Deborah, hello. Did y'all have breakfast this morning? It's 11:04, but it's still early for me. In fact, I got my iced coffee. I was talking to my producer behind the scenes, and she's usually in San Antonio, but she's in Dallas right now. And she's like, she's having coffee withdrawals because she hasn't had her coffee. I say, girl, you better go find you some iced coffee. I love me some coffee. Am I the only person who loves coffee on the stream? Oh, we got our YouTube baddies in the building. Deborah's over on YouTube. BU is on YouTube. Who is this? BU says he had a protein shake. Sorry, I just pulled it up to see. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hit the like button. If you're over on YouTube, look, make sure you subscribe, all the things. If you're watching us on Facebook, again, make sure you comment, say good morning. Let me know where you tapped in from. We have so much to get to because what was her name? Who said the girls are fighting? She was talking about Nicki Minaj and Cardi B when they had that little tussle a while ago. What is her name? Hold on. Now I'm tripping. Madam Producer, do you know who I'm talking about? Hold on. Who said it? Y'all remember? Oh. Azalea Banks. I'll never forget. She went on a live and she was like, the girls are fighting. Okay, so before I get into all of this, one, I want to know, have you guys heard of the James Talarico and Colin Allred situation or debacle or conversation or what's been happening with that? Let me know if you've heard about it. We're going to talk about it some more and how all this came about, what it stemmed from. Because let me just say this. I ain't never seen Colin Allred cut up like that. So, yeah, when I tell you I looked at that video, I was like, now who's this? Anyway, we're going to get into it. Okay, so everybody's saying good morning. Hello. Let me know. Hold on. Let's go back real quick. We're going to get to that in just a minute. Everybody's saying good morning. Deborah, Rochelle, good morning. Who is this? Shabria? Is it Shabri? Help me pronounce the name because I'm going to get it right. Let me put it on the screen so you can see who I'm talking about. Help me with the name. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to the page, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, all that good stuff. Life has been crazy, you guys. Before we get into our top story, which is the whole Allred and Talarico thing, make sure you're tapped in. Life has been like just this, it's been moving fast, okay? And I am really trying to lean into it. So the reason my producer pulled this up and reminding you guys to support independent media is because I get comments like this all the time. And this is someone, so for those of you who don't know, in my former life, I say former life, it wasn't that long ago. It was like a year and a few months ago that I ended up leaving my TV station in Dallas, Texas. So if you don't know anything about how the media landscape works, there are 200 plus media markets in and around the country, right? And so you work your way up from what's called smaller markets. So usually those are smaller cities, and you work your way up to trying to get in top 10 markets, etc. It's the trajectory, and usually what a lot of journalists do, they start in smaller markets and they work their way up. Anyways, long story short, I started in Bryan College Station, went to Tyler, Texas after that. After Tyler, Texas, which was a huge jump for me, I landed from Tyler into Dallas, Texas. In Dallas, we made waves, all things. The folks loved the cousin on TV, and everybody started calling me their favorite cousin on TV. And I get messages like this all the time and comments like this all the time saying that you guys miss me on TV. You want to support. And I always say, babes, I am on TV. We are just on TV in the future. Okay. In a different way. We are streaming. Okay. So I need my peoples to get with it. All right. The same way you turn the TV on and you go to your favorite channel, you can turn YouTube on for the free FREE, unless you want to support more and become a member. But you can turn YouTube on and you can watch us every day at 11 a.m. And I do want to say this because I want to be transparent as I am building and growing this show and this channel. One of the things that I am contemplating is whether or not once I'm going to be live twice a day. That's the first thing. The second thing is, do we keep it at 11 or do we go an hour earlier? I want to hear back from you guys, the people who are watching, the people who are supporting. Let me know how you feel about that. What do you think? Because I really want to make sure that I am doing this with the means to an end, which we already know what that is, but also making sure that we're reaching the amount of people that we want to reach. So it's all new, but we're going to make it happen. Rochelle say, I love me some coffee too. What did y'all eat this morning? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Austin is in the building. What is up? Hello, everybody. Faith and Love says, I am not buying it. She says, it is a smear campaign. She's referring to the Talarico and Colin Allred situation. Other folks saying, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. 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 Shabrina. Now, I hope I said it right, because you did put some pronounces in there. Thank you. TS is here from Tech. Now, look, what part of Texas? You, as big as Texas is, you just gonna say from Texas. Now, where at? Saying, so proud of you. Keep on going. Former reporter, and it is so hard. Yes, it is. And I do want to offer some encouragement to all of the former reporters and journalists and folks who are out there looking for whatever your next move is. I used to get talked about as a journalist because I always knew the importance of building external of just the TV station. And so even within my job, I stayed within obviously the realms of my contract. But people used to look at me as like, oh, she's doing too much. Yes, they used to say that. Okay. People in the business used to say that. But now I think more people are seeing the importance of having just something external that you can take with you, that you can build on your own. And, with or without your current position or TV station or network backing, you'll still be able to build on something that you've built over the years. And so I take pride in making sure that, other young journalists who I talk to, who I mentor, that they are 10 toes down and obviously learning at their stations, but also understand the importance of building external of the station. Now, again, we get to that point. I let them learn what they need to learn, within their markets. But at the same time, I always tell them like, hey, y'all see where the media industry is and y'all see where it's going. I think local news has to evolve. And I mean that. And I say that all the time. And so any reporters or journalists that are on here that are looking for their next move, you guys can always reach out to me. I try my best to respond to my messages and DMs. I don't have all the answers, but I will tell you that I am doing the best that I can, and we're going to make this thing work. Okay. Juliet, love this platform for you. You're able to provide the stories that are relevant to the community and the culture. And that is what we aim to do. That's what we aim to do. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hello, Canada. Hello, hello, hello. Who else on here? Who is this? You were mine and my husband's TV niece. Oh, wow. You came to the station at the same time we moved to Texas. My husband is the one who found your channel. Well, tell your husband, you and husband, to come on over here to YouTube, okay? Because you can put this on your TV too. If you got a smart TV, go ahead and download YouTube. Make sure y'all can watch it together. Okay, Monica says stick with 11. Thank you for that. Producer in the background, make sure that we're tracking some of these notes. Most folks saying 11, 11, 11. To stick with 11. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sabrina said I got the name right. Ohio is in the building. Dallas is in here as well. What part of Dallas? Let me know. Freeport, Texas. Good morning. Philanda, good morning. All the way from OKC, Oklahoma City. We appreciate your representation. Thank you. DFW in the house. Hey, Johnson, Renee. Keep up the good work. Love watching our favorite cousin. Hello from Fate, Texas. Now, Darla, I should know where Fate, Texas is, and I am ashamed, as much as I've studied the Texas map, that I can't recall where Fate, Texas is. So anyways, good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all keep tapping in. Let me know you're watching. If you're watching on Facebook and you have not shared this video already, go ahead and share it. Make sure you keep commenting. Go ahead and like it. Tag somebody in the comments who needs to come tap in. And we're going to continue this conversation. So let's get into the show. Okay. The first thing that I want to talk about, oh my God, again, this whole Colin Allred and James Talarico situation, like literally like Azalea Banks said, the girls are fighting, honey. Like what is happening? My issue is, why are we fighting each other when there are a whole lot of other things that you guys could be fighting against? So anyway, I'm going to read some of what some news articles had to say about this situation. I want to hear back from you guys. In a scathing video Monday, girl, okay. Former U.S. Rep Colin Allred ripped State Rep James Talarico for allegedly calling him a mediocre black man and urged voters to support U.S. Rep Jasmine Crockett, Talarico's opponent, and the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. Allred's comments came after someone who is a political content creator, her name is Morgan. She posted a video that went viral saying that she had a conversation with James Talarico. Now, I'm going to play Colin's video first in just a second. I'm going to play that video. However, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? What did you think of the video? Any feedback? Let me know. Trey Lincoln says, James, oh, Lord. Look, I ain't gonna be able to read all y'all comments because y'all be cutting up over here. Faith said, correct me, he's not in the race anymore. It's messy and all based on hearsay. Now, yes, hearsay, but Morgan backed it up with some receipts. And we're gonna talk about that in a minute. Go ahead and roll the tape. Roll the tape.
This are gonna show up.
Okay? Oh, do it from the beginning.
You're gonna feel like you have to be twice as good and jump twice as high and talk. To finish my workout. I got some steam coming off my head because I'm, to finish my workout. Thank you for taking off the mask. Thank you for telling.
Not the video cutting up. We gonna get, hold on. Let me start it from the beginning.
Out here, and I got some steam coming off my head because I'm, to finish my workout. Got some steam coming out of my ears too. I understand that James Talarico had the temerity and the audacity to say to a black woman,
not the temerity, the temerity,
that he had signed up to run against a mediocre black man, meaning me, not a formidable, intelligent black woman, meaning Jasmine Crockett. Let me just break this down into a few segments here. First of all, let me just give you some free advice, James. If you want to compliment black women, just do it. Just do it. Don't do it while also tearing down a black man. Okay? We've seen that play before. We're sick and tired of it. We're tired of folks using praise for black women to mask criticism for black men. That's not good for our community. It's not good. It doesn't work, and we know what you're doing. Okay? So if next time you want to praise a black woman, just do that. Leave black men out of it. Just leave a lot of things out of it. Second of all, did you ever have a coach or somebody, a leader in your life tell you that when you make an accusation, you often have a bit of confession in it? Maybe you use the word mediocre because there was something creeping into your mind about yourself. Because I know.
Okay, so far, what do y'all think? Like, what is tea? Because this is a lot. Okay, we only barely a minute into the video. This is a 2-minute video. Okay, let me know what you think. Again, this is former U.S. Rep. Colin Allred ripping into James Talarico because of some comments that were allegedly made in a conversation that was had. And I'm saying allegedly because I'm going to protect this show, but I got something to back up what Morgan said too here in just a bit. All right, so let me keep playing the clip from Colin Allred. I ain't never seen Colin Allred like this here.
Oh, you're not talking about somebody who's been better at 3 things than you've ever been at 1. You are not saving religion for the Democratic Party or the left. We already had Senator Reverend Dr. Raphael Warnock for that. We don't need you. You're not saying anything unique. You're just saying it looking like you do. Okay? And third of all, let me just say to all the young black men out there, all the young men come from tough background, struggle growing up, who maybe think that someday you want to put yourself forward as a leader in your community. It's going to have haters like this are going to show up, okay? And you're going to feel like you have to be twice as good and jump twice as high and talk twice as well, but you don't have to. You can walk out there with your shoulders back and your head held up high, knowing who you are and the value that you bring, and understanding that this comes with the territory and that there's going to be folks like this. And when we see them, we should say thank you. Thank you for taking off the mask. Thank you for...
What do you guys think he means when he says thank you for taking off the mask? What do y'all think he means when he says that? Y'all know I know what I mean, but I'm just asking y'all what y'all think. Sharon says, good morning from Duncanville. I've never heard him fired up like that either. Super Callie says, should have called Talarico and talked to him about it first. I'm going to put some of y'all comments up here. Should have called Talarico, talked to him about it first. Simply Purple, though, say it's shady. Are you talking about the whole situation or just this video? Trey says Talarico is a fake. Who else on here? And then I think I read Faith's from earlier, Faith and Love. Let me know what you guys think so far listening into this. It's only a few more seconds of the video, but I would love to hear your feedback. Okay, let me finish it out.
Who you really are and what you really think. And goodbye, okay? Because we're on our way and we don't need you to come with us and we don't need your help to get there. So with that being said, go vote for Jasmine Crockett. This man should not be our nominee for the United States Senate. I wasn't going to get involved in this race, but listen, don't come for me unless I send for you. Okay, James? And keep my name out of your mouth while you're at it.
Baby, well, hey, he said what he said, and it is what it is. Some folks feel like maybe this could have been handled in private, that they should have had a conversation offline, all things. Apparently, allegedly, this was a private conversation that was brought into the public. But of course, Morgan was the person who posted this on TikTok talking about this conversation, which is how a lot of the rest of us found out that this conversation even took place. Vicky says, I'm guessing you're referring to James Talarico. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vicky. Vicky says, meaning he is showing his real self. Simply Purple saying the whole situation is weird. Overall, Talarico is not as innocent as he... Hold on. Talarico is not as innocent as he seems. We can see right through him. And then who is this? He's showing his true colors and how he really feels. That is from Johnson Renee. Who else? Lady K. This is not going to help Jasmine or James. This is not going to help Jasmine or James is looking like some mess to me. What is this one? Let's be grown, folks. He should have approached him. Okay, Deborah said, y'all need to be grown around here. He should have approached him first before he put it out into the streets. Okay. Thank you for your comments. Definitely keep weighing in because now, so I do want to show you guys a couple of comments that folks left underneath the video. Some of them agree with some of the stuff that you guys have said so far. This one is from D-Do. I'm not reading all those usernames, but she says, just know Texas Democrats do not need to be tearing each other down right now. All of your steam should be against, Colin Allred said he had steam coming out his head at the beginning, his ears and his head. She said, all of your steam should be against the Republican candidates because I'm absolutely sure they've said much worse and are just sitting back watching you do all of the work for them. I don't disagree with that. Just saying. Okay. Who else? What else we got? What the next comment at? Who is this? Zimstagramming. Imagine if you came at, ooh, baby. He said, imagine if you came at Ted Cruz with this energy. People may remember that you ran. Y'all remember Colin Allred ran against Ted Cruz. Next comment. Next comment. So disappointed that you are repeating rumors from a social media account without providing evidence. I'm going to get to that. I donated to your opponent's campaign and encourages others to do the same. Julie Johnson, 33rd Congressional District. Send a message that we expect better from our candidates than these unfounded attacks. Let me get the next comment. I'm glad to see we are once again eating ourselves alive on the Democratic side of things with hearsay, unsubstantiated claims. Good deal. We'll just be stuck in this Republican hellhole forever. Okay, so before I go to my next video, for all the people who are saying these claims are unfounded, Morgan on TikTok, who is a political content creator, actually posted a lot of details about the conversation. So I want to play Morgan's video and also want to get some feedback from you guys specifically about what she had to say in the encounter. And a lot of people are pointing to a couple of things. Did James Talarico say that Colin Allred was a mediocre black man? Or did James Talarico say that Colin Allred ran a mediocre campaign? Two differences, two things that people are pointing out, but I'm gonna let y'all hear it for yourself. So let's play Morgan's video.
Talarico told me that he signed up to run against a mediocre black man, not a formidable and intelligent black woman. And I want to explain why this is problematic, especially as he shifted his current approach in the Texas Senate race. Now, before I get into the conversation that led to this comment, I want to put it out there that I supported Talarico and planned on voting for him before Jasmine Crockett joined the race. I'm voting for James Talarico. So I planned on voting for him when he was running against Colin Allred, the mediocre black man that he's referring to. Now, no matter how you feel about Colin Allred, the man is an attorney, a former professional football.
One thing I will say about this video is I'm happy that she addressed her previous videos where she went on the record, so to speak, saying that she was going to vote for James Talarico. I think that lends itself to the information that she is providing, right? So let's continue playing it.
Player and a former congressman. But I'm not bringing this forward because I want to bring any more negativity to this race. I care way too much about Texas to do something like that. But I do think it is my responsibility to bring something like this forward. And I do think it also indicates some things that are pretty important when it comes to how he's moving with his campaign. The obvious intimidation of Jasmine Crockett, along with the racially charged disrespect of Colin Allred as a black man, indicates something deeper than just a overly familiar comment that is coded in a compliment for a black woman. This explained to me why he would jump at the opportunity to play victim at just the mere thought as anything other than positive being out about him. And it also explains why he would say something like attack ads is what she planned on doing when the actual video he's referring to says nothing of the sort. Using this language when you have the privilege of being a white man, when people across the political spectrum are also using the angry black woman that's aggressive trope to attack her, is microaggressive. That's why I previously stated that this is an indication of his insecurity around his candidacy, or it's indicating that he's had something to hide. So getting into the conversation that led to the comment from James, I was angry and concerned after receiving an email and a text message from James Carville on Talarico's behalf for donations.
So she starts to get into why basically why they even got so far into the conversation and got to this point, right? So I want to make sure you guys are still tapped in and following where we are in the story. They had a conversation, the comment was made. So for those of you who are saying that it was unsubstantiated, she came with the receipts at the very least for that part. Now, what exactly was said verbatim, word for word? Hey, wasn't none of us there for the conversation. So I'm gonna let Morgan finish telling y'all how it went down.
James Carville is a Democratic strategist that has made comments recently about the need for Democrats to drop woke politics, and even wrote an article in November for the New York Times saying exactly that. And I'm always going to advocate for Black people because I don't care about how much you talk about affordability, housing, healthcare, whatever. If woke politics is not included in that, which directly impacts Black people, then we're left out of that conversation and policy. So I made that known to the campaign as someone that has a possibility of sitting in that seat. Now, up until this comment, the conversation was going well. That's why it threw me off so much to have a white man say this to a Black woman who was coming to him with concerns in relation to him for Black people. That is why the multiple people and news sources that have stated that he's working with Liz Smith, a consultant that's known for smearing competitors and campaigns, sounds credible to me, even though the campaign keeps saying that they're not, even though they've stated otherwise previously. Creators talk to him both individually and collectively, and multiple of us have caught them lying to us. Now, I stand by my statements that he's way better than Kim Paxton, who's the current frontrunner for Republicans, and a terror that we're trying to protect the rest of the country from. But this isn't someone I feel comfortable being in office when we have a truly amazing candidate like Jasmine Crockett as an option. So yes, I'm voting for Jasmine Crockett for Senate, and I encourage you to do so as well.
Okay, so real quick, one thing that I do want to say as I'm going to talk about Talarico's statement here in just a second. But one thing I do want to say in regards to Morgan, yes, Morgan is a political content creator. And yes, she's been very straightforward with the information that was provided to her. But again, at the end of the day, Morgan has voiced, obviously, that she's rooting for Rep. Crockett, Congresswoman Crockett, to take over. So again, y'all got to listen to all the videos, all right? So that all this makes sense to you. It started with Morgan's video. Colin Allred got a whiff of that, put his video out. And for those of you who are saying that what Morgan said was so-called unsubstantiated, I don't know how unsubstantiated it is when Talarico and them to put out a whole statement. Okay, so let's read through this statement. They say, this is a mischaracterization of a private conversation. In my praise of Congresswoman Crockett, I described Congressman Allred's method of campaigning as mediocre, but his life and service are not. I would never attack him on the basis of race. As a Black man in America, Congressman Allred has had to work twice as hard to get where he is. I understand how my critique of the congressman's campaign could be interpreted given this country's painful legacy of racism. And I care deeply about the impact my words have on others. That's exactly how you see it. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I have always said that despite our disagreements, I deeply respect Congressman Allred. We're all on the same team. Okay, I do have a guest that I want to bring on here. Her name is Angel Carroll. She is the president of the Black Austin Dems. Let me see if Angel is ready to come on stage. Let me see, Miss Angel. Hey, Angel, how are you? There you go. Hey, Angel.
Hey, good to see y'all. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. What do you make of this whole bit in regards to James Talarico, Colin Allred? I was telling folks at the beginning, I know you had another meeting right before you jumped on, but at the very beginning, I was like, yo, I ain't never seen Colin Allred do all of this, act like this, talk like this. And I'm like, for him to come out and say something that big and bold, somebody had to substantiate some claims, which is evident by the statement that was put out. And so anyway, how you doing? What you think about all of it?
First off, I'm so proud of Colin Allred. Like, I think we need to give him a round of applause because that is I wasn't expecting that, but it was nice to see. The last couple months, we've just seen so many attacks online, not just of Congressman Crockett's integrity and her electability, but a lot of Black women have been attacked. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of folks coming out and get upset. And so to see a Black man protect two Black women, I love to see it. Here's the thing I think people are missing as well. for Colin to come out and make that statement, like you said, it was founded and rooted in something, and for him to make a statement on the campaign trail again, like that's huge. We typically don't see that, but to be honest, I don't know what the congresswoman has to do with this. I don't know that I'm a fan of her being mentioned blatantly in that statement. Sits right within my soul because
Correct.
yeah.
So
That's my
why
thought.
so tell me, why do you feel like he mentioned her, and why should he have potentially kept her name completely out of the bickering or the back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the statement, even Colin's statement, right, was about, you had Morgan say, this was my experience with James Talarico. He mentioned Colin. I'm putting this out there, and this is why I'm supporting Jasmine. It's a huge reach to even say, right, to mention her. And I think, quite frankly, we're seeing Democratic primary politics and communication and strategy played out here. He did it intentionally. It's whether it's him, his team, whomever, it's an attempt to tie all of this to the congresswoman's team. And I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I'm not in these meetings, but I'm pretty confident that she had nothing to do with this, because the conversation wasn't about her to begin with. It was about how his campaign was running their communications and strategy.
I want to talk about the communications, messaging, and strategy because I, for one, as someone who's been in many conversations and as someone who is privy to a lot of conversations, and I'm not saying specifically on either campaign, but just in general, the messaging from, let's just say, to me, Dems overall doesn't seem like everybody's on the same page from a standpoint of what needs to be the messaging to get people on board together. So all this in-house fighting, like, yeah, Black History Month, not to say nothing like that about, you shouldn't say it, period, but in general. But I'm just saying from a messaging standpoint, all this in-house fighting is like, yo, what? That money could be used to go, and conversation could be used to make sure you're getting your messages out the right way. So I guess my question is, what are your thoughts on just the overall messaging that we are seeing overall with the Dem Party?
Yeah, so I think it's twofold. One, I think it's important to note, right, that this is what primaries are all about. Like, it is, primaries are uncomfortable, primaries can be messy. Primaries are the opportunity for multiple candidates to come out and say, this is why I'm better. This is why I'm better, to go against the Republican challenger in the general. So I think back to the presidential election and folks that were upset that we didn't have a presidential primary, and not so much that it was Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris as the nominee, but we didn't have a conversation of how to get there. And then we get here, and now people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't like the discourse. Like, unfortunately, this is what a primary is about. So I think people are seeing that. Some people get really passionate, right? And people want to protect their person. Think about it as sports, right? You're on the field and you're hitting and dodging everything. And sometimes people take it too far. But this is strategy. I'm not saying all the tactics are right. And I think that's why we're having this also larger conversation, because Morgan and other folks have mentioned their problems with this potential alleged connection that we're seeing proof of with Liz Smith.
I love how you said that we're seeing proof of. Go ahead.
We are. But here's the thing people forget, right? We can talk about Republicans are playing these dirty games, but Democrats do it as well. And
Absolutely.
so we have to call that out and name it. And unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, it really hurts Black and brown folks, because I'm just going to say that at the end of the day.
Yeah. I do want to still ask you, though, just from a standpoint of overall messaging. Let's take yes, we know what happens in primaries. We see it very often. But just from a messaging standpoint, do you feel like the Dems are on the same page?
No, I don't think Dems have a strategy that's being communicated to anybody, to be honest. I think, well, let me rephrase that. People say that we don't have a strategy, and to an extent, I think the strategy is losing because we do it very well, and we're not talking to each other. I mean, tell me.
I didn't know you was going there.
I mean, but let's be honest, right? Like, the backbone of the party, folks that are actually knocking on doors, unions, Black women, immigrants who make this country great continuously tell our party, this is what we need, this is what we want to see, this is how we feel. Like, you continue to spit in our face, but you're not truly listening to us. And people are tired. People are tired of being
Yes,
tired.
people are tired of being tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I guess too, like from a standpoint of people, one, tired of running to, the voting booth. And again, I always encourage people to vote, but I had a conversation the other day with someone who's running, and basically they're trying to get it to where we don't have to vote as often, right? Like to get to a point where we're going to the voting booth maybe once or twice a year, as opposed to multiple times in some years during the year, election season. And so I guess my question too is from a standpoint of folks who are tired of all the discourse. Why create more discourse that doesn't impact the bottom line? Or do you think this conversation with Talarico Allred does impact the bottom line?
I think it does, to be completely honest. I think I go back to, people have to vote for their interests, right? So oftentimes what I hear people say in the general is, I don't know any of these candidates. I don't like this
Yeah.
one candidate, so I'm going to stay out of the race. And my question is, well, did you vote in the primary? Because there are likely multiple people there that you could have picked. And so having this conversation, I think helps us get there. I think the biggest thing is that everything's online right now. I promise y'all, before social media, these conversations were happening. It was a lot more aggressive because it was in real life and not, folks hiding behind
That
screens.
part.
So I think there's an argument for both, but then I would say, does that mean we shouldn't have this conversation? I also think that, I hear the feedback of, well, Republicans are going to use this right against Jasmine or James on the back end, and I assure you, um, there are things that I don't even know, and most of us don't even know, right? Like, they're going to use whatever they're going to use, just like
They're
I
gonna
think
use
Democrats
whatever
are
they
going to
can
use
find.
whatever we're going to use. Exactly. And so I think the real question is, and I love that you mentioned this earlier, regardless of who the nominee is, are we going to show up and vote? And one of the things I just have to name, if you'll just let me name it, is, I hear people say, well, I'm worried that Jasmine supporters aren't going to come out in the general and support James Talarico. And I have to say, I've committed that regardless of who the nominee is, I'm going to vote because I know that it matters. And I know who I believe is going to represent me in this primary. I believe that Congressman Crockett is going to represent my interests. However, if it is James as the nominee, yeah, I trust him more than I trust Wesley Hunt, Ken Paxton, or John Cornyn, right? But let's also make statements that are rooted in facts. And the
Yeah.
facts are that the 92%, we are consistent voters. We continue to show up and save the Democratic Party. And I don't think people have to worry about us. I think that we need to worry about the is it the 72, don't get me lying on numbers, that didn't show up in the presidential election because they didn't believe that a black woman could be president.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfair to put the ownership on us, that we shouldn't share our experiences and our concerns because it's potentially going to hurt somebody in the long run. But
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that and for addressing it too. We do have a couple of comments. Faith and Love saying speaking of Morgan, I'm guessing she intentionally misconstrued his words because she knew it would start a race war, which is sad. I am not falling for the rage bait, respectfully. Francis says, why critique his campaign anyway if you're so called on the same team? I guess this part here, CPND was mentioning left versus establishment Dems. When you hear that, what's your feedback when you hear that left versus establishment Dems?
yeah, I guess my question is, one, what do people identify as establishment Dems? I think people think individuals, candidates, folks are establishment when they're not. I mean, I've heard that made about myself and others that I know is not true because they're not in the rooms in these conversations. But I think we still have to talk and air out and talk about our issues with each other. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I buy into it, to be honest. I understand um, the complaint, but I don't know. I guess I see enough in the background that I'm just like, thinking that certain people are establishment and certain people aren't establishment. I don't know.
I will ask you though, we can talk all day long about quote unquote background conversations and just being more into understanding what's happening in the political realm. But one of the reasons that I have this show is so that we can have conversations that help other people understand what's happening. So when I hear left versus establishment, I feel like they're talking more like progressive versus non-progressive, perhaps. The person who left that comment, you can certainly get in the comments and weigh in and let us know if we're on the wrong track. And they can respond to it if they decide to do so. But and I'm not sure if you can see them on your end, and if you can, but it's the person that's Canada Snow. No, I'm sorry, that wasn't them. My apologies. Hold on. CPND. They said left versus establishment Dems. And so when people try to compare Talarico and Congresswoman Crockett specifically, and they'll say one is more progressive than the other, they basically are running on a lot of the same things. And so what would be your feedback to those folks, considering, oh yeah, and somebody just commented again, progressive versus moderate likely is what they mean. What would be your feedback to them on that?
I would say that I think both of them, when it comes to policy, are very similar. If I'm really frustrated that that corporate media kind of got into this last debate, and that it's limited availability and it's hard for people to go back and watch. But when they talked about the issues, they agree on a lot of the same things, if not everything. The route of how they get there is different, and that is why there's also discourse amongst teams, right, and folks and supporters, because it's like, well, you're saying there's an electability problem. You're saying, she's this and that. And it's like, we'll go back and look on the other side and you'll see they didn't disagree on their thoughts about genocide and ICE. And, there was differentiality there, but also like no candidate is going to get on TV and say abolish ICE, whether you agree with it or not. They're not going to say that. And so it's all how you communicate. I think absolutely. There's also, and here's what I'll also say. I know I used to live in James Talarico's district. I've worked with him on various policy issues, particularly around criminal justice in his office. And I said early on, and most recently, I wasn't planning on getting involved in this debate at all and saying anything, because I had my own feelings about how the campaign was being run. I will say I do not believe that James Talarico is racist. Do I believe that the comments that we're seeing from some of his supporters are? Yes, but I inherently do not believe that man is racist. And I think it's important to say that. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But then when we're looking at PAC money and investments, there are so many misconceptions that are being said, right? Yeah. He made it very clear he wasn't going to take PAC money. Jasmine did as well. They both have taken, or let me say that. They said they weren't going to take corporate PAC money in the Senate race. Both of them said that. James has taken corporate PAC money from when he was a House representative. Jasmine did as well. But we're talking about the Senate race. And so this is just like where we are right now in this video with Morgan. It stems from a lot of online conversations and discourse that I don't think people know about. And quite frankly, it gives me a headache thinking about it because it's just so much. I got a headache. Like, how did we get here?
Like, how did we get here and why are we here? Like, I really wanted to get in the comments, like, y'all stay focused. Look, we got to make sure that we're putting information out that the folks need to hear, but also, addressing things as they need to be addressed 1000%. But please, let's get back in line, say what we got to say. Colin Allred said what he needed to say. James then responded, hey, okay, we need to get back in line, stay focused, and do what we got to do to make sure we get the right messaging out. Because I guarantee you, on a day where what's today, the 3rd, this came out on the 2nd, instead of trying to get people to go make sure they're registered to vote, we over here talking about this. Did y'all make sure? You could have dropped that video at 7:00 when the voter registrar closed, which I don't know what time he dropped it. I can't remember, but I'm just saying, like, man, that should have been the focus, making videos yesterday all day, trying to get people. That's what we was talking about on this show, trying to get people to register to vote and make sure that their registration status is all good. But anyways, it's a conversation that has been had. Folks gonna probably be talking about it for about a week or so, but I think it's gonna die down after that. What do you think?
Look, we all know social media. We will be on to the next thing
Yep.
tomorrow. And I mean, the last 72 hours have been a lot, right? So
Yeah.
I think people's attention spans are relatively short. I know mine is. And something else will happen tomorrow. We're in a partial government shutdown. So who knows what's going to happen? Um,
Hmm.
you know, yeah. So we'll see. But if I can, I see someone had asked if I think it's
I
going to hurt
love
our
this.
chances to
Oh,
win.
go ahead. Sorry. Hmm.
Oh, sorry. Um,
No, I can pull it up. Go ahead.
okay. Yeah, I don't know that I believe that only because, well, let me say this. My hope is that have similar voters who want to see Texas flip, who want to see this, and we know then we see the mission after the primary, we all fall in line and we
There
support the
you go.
nominee. And if we
There you go.
understand the mission and the purpose of a primary and what we're trying to do, we're all going to make it work. How you get there may be different. I may, if the James Talarico is the nominee, I don't have to like how he gets there and if he wants to focus primarily on moderates. I know that when I'm in my community, I know who I'm going to go talk to in
Talk
my
about it.
capacity and where my experience is. My work is rooted in making sure that Black folks are registered to vote, that they understand the issues, and they know who's on their ballot. If James Talarico is on the ballot in November, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go talk to Black people. And if he wants to focus primarily on moderates, I'm going to go talk to moderates. If he wants to focus primarily on
It could be my Morgan. Are you there? It looks like it cut out. Is she still on, Amani? No. Okay. It looks like her video might have cut out in the middle. Um, I don't know if we can remove her and try to get her back on. Amani, you want to try to do that? There we go. I did want to address one comment that we had here. And hold on, let me get to it. And I think it was what I referenced earlier. Stay focused. Everybody doing a lot. James isn't racist. Crockett will get my vote if she wins the primary. What's the big goal? Thank you, Xavier, for weighing in. TC says the far left and the centrists are attacking Jasmine from different sides. Faith, he is a racist. Morgan created chaos because she is now a Jasmine supporter. Let's make sure everyone is registered and everybody votes blue. I like what Angel said. We gotta get whoever is the nominee in. That was the main plan. Anyway, we need to win in Texas. Yeah, she froze. I know she was on her cell phone, so hopefully it comes back. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get her back into the conversation, but I know she froze. Y'all so silly talking about Timu internet. Cut it out. I love y'all. Y'all so funny. Um, so funny. She was on her cell phone, and y'all know how these cell phone providers be. And honestly, it's probably because the conversation was getting good, and the people, the people be watching. All right, they probably was like, get off of there, talking all that good stuff. So they're gonna try to get her back on, but I mean, we needed to wrap it up anyway because I know we needed to go to our next topic, which we were supposed to talk about the vouchers. I am gonna talk about them very, very briefly. If you guys still want to weigh in on the Talarico Crockett, not Talarico Crockett, excuse me, the Talarico. Oh, there she go. Hold on. Look, double back from the voucher program. We'll get to that in a minute, okay?
Man, they were trying to
Hey,
cut me off, y'all. I had to join
look,
my
look,
iPad.
Angel. Some of the folks talking about, oh, she got that Timu internet. I say, don't, not too much, not too much.
I got that Timu. I have Xfinity. I'm pretty sure they have Xfinity here. Okay.
Talk about it. Talk about it. But you can go ahead. I think you were addressing one of the comments. I'm not sure if you want me to pull that one back up.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, right, that in the general, we have to use our privilege and power in the communities that we're in to make sure that folks get out and vote. And so, where I show up in the community is very issue specific, and we're gonna have this conversation. if it's James, they're going to be tough conversations because myself and others have gone out and we've expressed our concerns. So now we will potentially have to say, like, while we have these concerns, this is what we have to do moving forward. And I know I'm prepared to do that. I hope everyone else is as well.
I love it. Somebody, they just joking now. Talking about come to Minnesota, the internet is great. Cut it out. We ain't no. And y'all got a lot to be worried about in Minnesota right now, because Lord have mercy. And that's a whole nother conversation that a lot of us are also having online. So good God
Well, I'm
Almighty.
coming to Minnesota for the infrastructure because y'all can handle winter storms better than we can, apparently.
Oh, not too much. Not too much.
Tell me
Angel, not too
lies. Tell me a
much.
lie.
Okay. Because, baby, we was stuck in the house for about a week. About a week down here in Texas.
Yeah.
Child. Mm. What is this? Sainted Whisper. I'm in the 9th district where we just won big. Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. The 9th district where we just won big. So the goal is to get people, Republicans do one thing well, and that's not talking about each other. Now, I can't say that you lie. Now, they probably do be talking about each other, but we probably just don't hear a whole lot about it. So let's not say that they're not talking about each other, because I don't believe that. It's just that I don't think it gets as much into the public discourse because you're also on one side of the internet. Let's be very clear, right? We don't know what's happening over on their side of things. All right. What were you about to say, Angel?
What I'll also say about that too, though, is that Republicans, while they have primaries, they look different, right? Because Republicans understand one thing, the importance of legacy. And I respect them for this, right? They say, this is who I'm going to tap. They have the courage to say, this is who's next. We don't always have to like it. I think we
Yep.
shouldn't always just go and vote for somebody because an elected says this is my legacy. But they build the bench, right?
Yep.
We don't do that well as Democrats. And so I think when you're tapping somebody and you're making sure that they have the experience and you're bringing them in early on, yeah, there's no need to necessarily talk bad about somebody because everyone's like, I know who this person is and what they're about. So there's a different level of strategy there. But Taylor did a video and talked about relational building being a successful component to his race. And there are great platforms like Texas Blue Action.
Are you talking about Taylor Ramett? Just so we're clear.
Taylor Ramett. Yes, Taylor
Yeah.
Ramett. And he talks about, utilizing different tools and, Reach is one that allows folks on their phones to say, okay, let me add people that I know in my network and send reminders that, there's an election coming up. I live in Texas CD 18 and I have voted the March primary on March 3rd will be the third time that I voted in the last 3 months. Like
That's
I
crazy. Yeah.
but it's important. And so we have to remind folks to exercise, right, that voting muscle because our life depends on it. And we may not be able to do that in 2028.
Girl, I wish I had some sound effects over here. Okay. Because, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Saint to Whisper, I see your comments. Crowns, I can't read that whole thing. Texans will go blue in 2026. I'm ready. Let's go. I don't know what you're referring to, Xavier, about the comments that were made earlier about James. I don't know. We've said a lot. She said something about she worked with him on criminal justice. Oh, what did you mention, Angel, earlier about working with James on criminal justice in Austin? And I know you had said you wanted to just make it clear, like, I do not believe he's racist. And then I think you said something else too.
Yeah, so that the concerns, I've posted videos, but I've said what I've had to say online. I don't want to repeat that, but I wanted to just make a comment earlier about I do believe the comments that we're seeing online from some of his supporters are racist. I have never experienced racism from James himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there are other people's experiences. I'm not going to speak on that, but my experience has not been that way. And I made it very clear, I think, like a lot of people, that we weren't planning on having a conversation about this race because we respected both candidates. And then there were different straws that broke the camel's back, and we felt like we had to say something, and we did.
Yeah.
And I've had great conversations with this team and him directly, and it just is what it is. I don't think it's worth repeating.
Yeah.
But specifically criminal justice stuff that I've worked on, my background is in the juvenile justice system and the intersection of school to prison pipeline. He's been a great advocate for bills like raise the age because in Texas, be arrested as early as age 10. And that was me. I was arrested in Texas as a kid at 10, and providing pathways of reintegration for a youth out of youth prisons. And so I can't sit here and say um, that he hasn't done good work, because he has.
Yeah. Real quick, Angel, before I let you go, because I know you got to get out of here. Angel's based in Austin, by the way, you guys. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Austin and Houston.
Austin. She like Austin and Houston. Get it right. Okay. I'm from Houston. So I saw your 832 number. I was like, okay, Angel, we might be working with something. But she's based in Austin and Houston. But real quick, Angel, for folks who don't know, of course, I mentioned one of your titles, but tell folks about the situation where you were banned from the Capitol real quick before you get out of here.
Yes. So I'm about that life, just a little bit, because I'm down with it. So when our Democrats fled to Chicago during the corn break to fight for our right to vote and to be properly represented, some of them came back to the state, and they were required to essentially sign a document to be followed by DCS agents to ensure that they didn't run away again. And so State Representative Nicole Collier out of Fort Worth said, I'm not signing this. Y'all are not about to follow me everywhere. And they would not let her leave the House chambers. And I also want to add, there were other people that they let leave, didn't sign, but this Black woman, they locked her in. And so myself and others started to mobilize, and we said, we're not gonna stand for this. And we decided to host a protest. It got about to 10, almost 11 p.m. And there were about 30 DPS troopers who were like, y'all need to leave. And something in my spirit said, I'm not going anywhere. And I sat down in front of the House chamber floor with 3 other women, including Senator Molly Cook, and we were arrested, spent 6 hours in county jail. They did not have to arrest us. They could have just given us our tickets. In fact, they did. We stayed outside the Capitol for an hour before they actually booked us in jail. My charges were later, they were rejected by the county attorney, right? They were like, this isn't, there's no substantial evidence, and they just accept it. So now I am banned from the state capitol for a year. And I guess let me be even more clear. It's a Capitol complex. So that means I am quite literally not allowed on the driveway, grass, parking garage.
You can't even walk down that little pathway to get to the pillars. You can't even be outside right there.
I can't go to the Bob Bullock Museum. People don't realize how wide that complex is. And I do a lot of work. So I'm on the Judicial Commission for Mental Health. And so some of our meetings are at the Texas Supreme Court. I can't even go there. So right now we're exploring options to sue the state of Texas because our First Amendment rights have been violated.
Yep.
But on top of that, like, especially if you live in Austin, most of our representatives don't have district offices because they're right there. I mean, even the neighboring counties in Williamson County and some in Hayes, they don't have offices. And so that also means I can't go talk to my representative because I'm now banned from this building that everyone knows I'm at. Now, you might not like what I have to say, but I'm not going to get political violence. Like, our country was built on protests, so it's kind of ironic.
Yeah. Well, you make sure you keep us posted. I'm sure folks gonna be in the comments saying they want to bring you back on, so we're gonna add you to the list. But keep us posted on what's going on and how you guys choose to move forward with that, because I think it was obviously big news when it initially happened, and as so many other things, it kind of dies off, but it has literally impacted your life for the next however much longer we have in the next year or so. And so I would love to just follow up on that. And, as you guys get more information, would love to hear more. CPND say Angel is great. First time seeing her, but it's the first time I'd have had her on. So yeah, we're going to try to bring her back. Thank you so much, Angel.
We
Same here.
Act, and
yeah,
I didn't get a chance to stop and say hello, but we were both at the Beyonce concert together. I was in the section. I was on the 5th row, so I was like in front of you, but came back to take a picture, and I was like, "Is that a shot?" And I was like, "I can't. I'm too nervous to say hello in real life. I wish I would have, but I saw you, girl."
Shut up! I hope you saw me cutting up, because that's exactly what I did at Beyonce, honey.
And did.
Thank you, Angel, and thank you so much for making time for us today.
Of course, thank y'all.
Okay.
Bye.
Talk later. Bye. Okay, you guys. We're going to zoom through the voucher stuff because we really have to get through this as quickly as possible, okay? Because we were supposed to be off here a long time ago. All right, so real quick, voucher program, Texas School Vouchers. The applications go live tomorrow. I believe it's February 4th. Didn't I have it pulled up? Hold on. Texas School Vouchers open February 4th. That is tomorrow. Wanted to give you guys some more information about how the programs work, the program will work, and what families should know. One of the things that I wanted to mention, because let me be very clear, this is not something that a lot of folks support. However, what I am not going to do is not give y'all the information, and you can decide what you want to do with that. All right. So real quick, just to tell you a little bit more about why the voucher program passed here in Texas. It's long been debated in Texas for years. This legislative session, the last legislative session, marked a turning point for it. This is something Governor Greg Abbott made school vouchers a top priority. He used his political influence to push the plan through the legislature. This is what experts say about it, because I don't want you to get it twisted, even as I give you some of this information. As the applications open, which is tomorrow, experts caution that the long-term impact of the program remains uncertain. And I believe a lot of this stems from, obviously, even our public schools are very much underfunded, but we have these vouchers that are going to incentivize folks who are sending their children to private schools. Studies of voucher programs in other states have shown, this is from the article, have shown mixed results according to Yan. Hold on, let me go see. Who is Yan? Okay. Mike Yan is a Sam Houston State University political science professor. So according to Mike, it's shown mixed results in other states. Some districts may see improvements while others could struggle depending on how many families participate and how the program is implemented. He goes on to say these programs very rarely show the promise that supporters suggest, and they very rarely show anything like the kind of disaster that opponents suggest. So this leaves a lot of room for people to claim victory and to move on from it. Because of that uncertainty, experts say the program could eventually return to the legislature for changes or adjustments if outcomes vary wildly by state. So let's talk about what you need to know. Okay, so can we pull up that first graphic? Again, for the folks who want to know more information about the vouchers. Where did it go? There we go. So for folks who want to know about this, you can apply online at educationfreedom.texas.gov. I am not encouraging you to do anything, but what I am saying is if there's money out there, okay, we are past the part where they got it approved. We want you to fight against it if that's what you choose to do, but this is the information, okay? Educationfreedom.texas.gov. Students selected if demand exceeds funding. And I'll, of course, try to post an article about this as well. Let's go to the next graphic so that we can kind of scroll through what the process looks like for people. And all this is available again on that website, Education Freedom. Hold on. Go back to that last graphic. I'm sorry. My bad. Educationfreedom.texas.gov. All right. Now you can go to the next one. Excuse me. Hey, good morning. Good morning. I see you guys. Good morning. TC say no to vouchers. Yeah, Xavier, seriously, saying facts. If it's going to exist, might as well use it. Like, so y'all just going to let the money sit there and not even attempt to figure out, like, what? No, at the very least, you're going to have this information. All right. So Texas school vouchers, who can apply? Texas families with eligible students. What does that mean? You can find it out on the website I just gave you. Priority groups, though, include students with disabilities, low-income families, and students that are leaving public schools. As I mentioned, you decide what you want to do with this information. I am simply making sure you have it. Let's go to the next graphic. State-funded education savings account. As far as what is a school voucher in Texas, it can be used for approved private school education, tuition, and it covers certain education expenses. Those are materials and tutoring, for example. Last graphic, please. Who runs the program? The Texas Comptroller's Office, child. Comptroller is responsible for launching and managing those accounts. So again, this is just the information. You can read up more on it if you decide to do so. But at the very least, I want you to know that it's happening. It kicks off tomorrow. A lot of families are getting their documents or what have you together so that they can go online and see if they can apply, but the money is there. So whatever you choose to do with said funding and said money that potentially is available is completely up to you. And I know all the discourse surrounding these school vouchers, but the bottom line is a lot of that is discourse, and the fact that it has passed and it has been approved, at the very least, we should know what's going on. We can fight it all day long, but you should at the very least know what is happening with it. Okay. What else? I think that's it. I think that is all. Finally, we went 7 minutes over, but that's okay. So I do want to remind you guys to continue supporting independent journalism. I appreciate you guys for all the comments and tapping in throughout this conversation. We are still in the soft launch phase of all of this. And part of that means making sure we're working out the kinks as best we can. And we're going to work them out live on the air if we have to. Okay. And no, we don't got no T-Moo internet over here. All right. So y'all better stop playing with us. Okay. Absolutely not. If you have not subscribed on my YouTube page, please go and like this video over on YouTube. Even if you're currently watching right now on Facebook, go like this page on YouTube and subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscribers up and definitely trying to get more into the YouTube game. And I want to be clear about what we're trying to do as we continue to build this page. The show will evolve. Right now, we are doing this every day at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Central. If you want to weigh in on the times that we should potentially do the show, you can definitely leave it in the comments even after this video ends. But right now we're sticking with 11. We may try at 10. We may try at 4 p.m. because eventually I want to go live twice a day. So anyways, I'm putting it all out there because look, ain't no reason to hide none of it. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build this network. Okay. The Tashara Parker channel and the Tashara Parker show. And again, your support means the world. So make sure you like, subscribe. And if you have experts or individuals that you guys think we should highlight, you want to send us notes or anything along those lines, you can send that with media@tasharaparker.com. Media@tasharaparker.com. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being tuned in and tapped in and politically in tune as well as culturally in tune. Okay, look, because we trying to get some things accomplished around here. Faith and Love says, excellent show today. This was great dialogue about the issues that matter. Thanks for keeping us informed. Thank you. And then I see some more comments, but y'all can go read them on your own time. Okay. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye. Hey cousins, thank you so much for watching. Your support is how we keep going. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. I know you hear me say it all the time, but all of that impacts the algorithm and folks finding out about the Tashara Parker Show. We want to make sure you never miss a show as well. We are live every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. and sometimes some special episodes. If you support the work that we're doing here, please consider becoming a member of the Tashara Parker Show. You can do all of this by visiting our YouTube page. Thanks so much for supporting the work that we're doing here. We could not do any of this without all of you. Thank you.